Hey y'all! So, I'm sure a lot of you know that a semi-common critique about Elden Ring Nightreign is the, quote, lack of content. Firstly, I do disagree that there is a lack of content for Nightreign. I believe Nightreign, especially for the game that it is, to be heavily packed with content. I mean, I've played vanilla Nightreign enough to the point where I sunk about 1,400 hours into it before I even considered modding the game. And even then, I still mostly play the vanilla experience. Now, of course, everyone is free to their own opinions and thoughts, and if you think that Nightreign could have used more content, I do understand that perspective. And, I too wish that From Software would support this game more, and who knows, maybe in the future they will. I'm on Copium, I'm sure I am, but so on and so forth, yada yada yada. Today's main discussion is going to be about a little mod that you might have heard of that adds extra content to Nightreign, and that is the More Map Variations mod, MMV for short. So, MMV, what is it exactly? What is the Map Variations mod? It serves as, first and foremost, from what I can understand, a passion project by somebody by the name of Dragonblade 9630. And they, and I believe a team that they have, I look more into this, I'll post it up on the screen, have been working on this mod for quite some time now, and they are still continuing to work on this mod. This mod is very much still a fairly big work in progress. They have a big roadmap for it, which is very exciting. But its primary, purpose is what it offers to the Nightreign community is giving more content to those who crave it. And considering that Nightreign is already rich with replay value, I mean, hey, how can even more hurt, right? Alright, there's a lot of things I really love about MMV, such as the new field bosses, the new castle formations, which are my favorite aspect of this mod, the new night bosses, and of course the new weapons, which briefly about the new weapons. The weapons mod was created by a user called Terramag, and that is a separate mod you can get for Nightreign, completely removed from the map variations mod, but they did a collaboration together that adds them both in, and I think that's really cool. Both versions of the mod, with or without the weapons, are available for download on Nexus if you are interested in playing. So I will talk about both mods kind of individually. Let's focus on more map variations for right now. Again, my favorite aspects are that there's new bosses, new castle formations, new night bosses. All that is really cool. I really love the new castle formations. I think those are super sick. Stuff like Godskin Castle, Creature Castle, Lindell Night Castle, Rock Castle, all these weird variations. There are a ton of them, and there's even more new field bosses as well. Most of which I think are super cool. A lot of them just come straight in from Elden Ring, and they work about as you would expect, which I think is very impressive considering that this is a mod that has so much to account for and go over. I do not envy the mod creators in the slightest, because I can only imagine how much of a coding nightmare this probably is. Now, is it perfect? No, and I'll go over that a little bit later. The new night bosses are really cool. Of course, a big standout for a lot of people is Gale, right? We have Radon, Melania. We even have Martyr Logarius from Bloodborne. There's a ton of new night bosses to go over, all of which I'm not going to really say here. I don't want to spoil absolutely everything. I already kind of name dropped a few big names, but for anyone who's interested in playing the mod, you haven't seen much of it, and then, trying to do you a solid here and not spoil the whole thing. Really, I think most of which that is here is really good. There are a few little hiccups, I suppose. Like, there are Dark Souls 3 enemies that are imported into the game. That is really cool, but it does come with its caveats. Those which that some of the sound bits either don't work at all, or they're extremely loud, at least that I've experienced, and the animations are fairly jank sometimes. I don't know why Mr. Jarbro here from DS3 is a dire boss. Like, why is he on the same level as Loretta, Tree Sentinel, for instance, right? I feel like he should more logically be on the same level as a Black Knife Assassin or a Zamor. Because in Dark Souls 3, he's just like some semi-tough enemy you encounter in the second level of Dark Souls 3. The name of which is eluding me right now for whatever reason. Maybe there's a logic behind it that I just don't realize, but I do think that is a little strange. Is it a big problem? No, not really. But his animations could use some work. He is very, I guess, fidgety, for lack of a better term. Now, of course, I understand that a lot of this is still work in progress, and these finer tune-ups will be polished as the mod goes on, I am sure. I'm not trying to be overly critical. Needlessly, I'm just giving critique where I think it is personally due. I do really love this mod. I think it's excellent. Which brings me on to stuff like the weapons. Now, the weapons are really cool. I mean, we get the dream a lot of people have been asking for, which is Shadow the Erdtree weapons. Stuff like the Milady and the backhand blades are here. And they're all really, really cool. They're also a little bit, overpowered in a sense of damage, but I do think their stance damage is abnormally high. Like, backhand blades especially really stood out to me as a weapon that just does really insane stance damage. Like, I will be stance breaking things with this weapon class that I swear takes longer to stance break on greatswords. So I don't know if there's some weird motion value craziness going on, or the stance values weren't appropriately adjusted. Whatever kind of crazy wacko coding is going on behind the scenes with modding, which again, I know is a nightmare. So I'm not being overly critical there. I'm just pointing it out as like, I think that could use a little fine tuning. But beyond that, it's really cool. The Dark Souls 3 weapons are also awesome. Stuff like Gale's Great Sword. We have the funny Cell Sword Twin Blades are here. The ha ha ha, right? If any of you are very familiar with Dark Souls 3. All that stuff is really sick. I like that that's in the game. There used to be a definitely game-breaking glitch or bug with the two-handed, with the power stance weapons. If you were to jump attack, your character would just get stuck in midair and die. That, thankfully, since then has been patched out. I'm glad to see quick work like that being done. The people who work on these mods, they clearly love what they're doing, and they try to release it as quickly as they reasonably can. I mean, they are doing this, as far as I know, completely for free. So, we are on their time. And we should also respect that time because, they're doing this out of the good of their own passion to do it. That said, I am very much looking forward to more of this mod. The roadmap for it looks honestly insane. It makes me very excited, especially stuff like Everjail's being renewed, because as it stands, I will maybe open up an Everjail or two and then just not do them ever again unless if they're just on the route. Like if Everjails are on the route, then I'm going to do it, but I do not route Everjails, and I haven't for a very long time since the Everjail meta just fizzled out. If I had some hopes for the mod, I would love to see more bosses from Dark Souls 2 be added, from Bloodborne if possible. Like, imagine fighting Gehrman or Lady Maria in Nightreign, or dare I say, Ludwig the Holy Blade. I'm just saying, right? Hell, you can bring in Orphan too. I'll fight Orphan again, sure. There's so much room to add for more in this mod, and being that's a mod, go absolutely crazy, right? Within reason, of course, for however much mental fortitude that the mod creators can afford to give. So that's kind of my general broad thoughts on the mod. I've done about maybe 60-ish runs of the mod. I could definitely do more, but I've seen most of what it can offer in that time, and it's extremely fun. It is extremely fun. So with that said, y'all, if you are interested in that mod, please do go check them out. I'm not going to have the links to the mod in the description, but the creators' names are up on the screen here, so you can just search them up on YouTube. I feel like it's weird if I were to post their mod in my description, so I'm not going to do that. That feels weird. But if you're interested in that mod, you go look it up yourselves. They have tutorials on their pages of how you can do it. Make sure you back up your save data and all this, and that. And with that, I am going to head out of here for now. So I am wishing you a great day, and if y'all want to do that good old YouTube thing, like, subscribe, yada yada yada, I greatly appreciate it, and until the next one, adios.